Shalom Yasharallah. It's your brother Dawud Daw from GMS Tampa Bay '07, coming back at you with this truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of great millstone that taught me this truth and that root well. A salutation, much love for you. I can push in this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. I'm going to jump into this here lesson real quick, dealing with this space command, the space force that Donald Trump is pushing for, And like I said in another video, we at the end of this thing, where the prophecies is constantly speaking, we got these three major prophecies left to pretty much take place, the chariots, the mark of the beast, and thermonuclear destruction, World War III, So as those times are approaching, you're starting to see these small pieces of the puzzle keep being placed until you can see a bigger picture. You see all these things being revealed, But the men of the Lord has been out on the highways and byways and on these YouTube videos, constantly putting up, videos and edification as far as ringing the alarm and warning the people these constant things, Some people might get bored with seeing the same old topics over and over and over again. But hey, look, as we get to the end, it ain't nothing else, no other topics to be talking about. There's nothing else left to talk about but these last three things, And one way or another, these things are coming to pass, as you see every day on these news titles, So we're going to just jump into this one here. It says, Mattis calls space a developing war zone. Most creating combat command before Space Force. All right. Now, in this story, they're going to pretty much be getting into war with mankind, just using space as a domain for their systems and their technology. All right. But nevertheless, we all know through the scriptures, what Esau has in mind and what he has planned. All right. It says, and they actually openly said this with the Star Wars program, all right? Ronald Reagan talking about this when they first announced this program, when they first said that they was putting it up, or when they first announced that was launching the program, because they already had it, all right? Back then they had all this, all right? And now they just reintroducing it, reaffirming it inside of your mind that that's what they going out there to do. So when they activate this system, it ain't going to be no surprise, all right? So it says, U.S. Defense Secretary James Mattis says Pentagon agrees with President Donald Trump on viewing space as a possible battlefield and is considering setting up a combatant command until the Space Force can be created. All right. So this is what's in their heart to do. This is what their agenda is. They're like, yo, we got to get this here space war popping, or these space weapons popping so we can go ahead and, so-called defend ourselves against the Lord, or we can fight the Lord, because that's what's in their mind. They want to rule forever. All right. It says we need to address space as a developing warfighting domain, and combat command is certainly one thing that we can establish. Mattis told reporters on Tuesday, adding that the Pentagon is in complete alignment with Trump's concern about protecting U.S. assets in space. All right. And so basically the military complex is all for it. Well, they was already for this, Now you got a president, that's also for this, And so really the president don't really matter. What they really telling you is, look, this is what we going for at this point in time, or this is what we planning it to do. In all actuality, this system has been in place since like the damn 80s, or probably even before that. All right. It was called the Star Wars program. Before that it was called SDI. All right. So, it was before they had a Star Wars program, they had it under another name. All right. So it says, we're going to have to address it as other countries show capabilities to attack those assets, the secretary added. It says Trump issued a directive in June to begin preparation for creating the Space Force as a separate branch of the U.S. military, along with the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. Doing so will ultimately require an act of Congress, however. Yeah, so what that means is, if you don't read Edomite talk, basically Donald Trump, what they trying to get you to believe and understand. This story they want to get you to understand, because like I said, when you look up the Star Wars program, all right, and then if you look up before that was even around, it was called the SDI, I believe, the Strategic Defense Initiative or something like that. But the acronym was SDI, all right. But they had this around back in those times, all right? But nevertheless, they are unveiling it now, all right? But then it says, where was it at? Oh, it says doing so will ultimately require an act of Congress, however. All right, so basically what they're doing is they setting up the infrastructure and the backbone, getting everything in place, but they can't get the so-called okay or the green light to go ahead and make this official. So what they do is they set up the infrastructure and get everything in place, and then all of a sudden they have a false flag or a natural disaster where they're like, well, we got the resources. All you got to do is give us the okay. All it's going to take is a signature. We don't have to wait years, months, and so on and so forth to develop this and trial it out. We already got it right here on standby, you know? It says, we are working our way through all of this, Mattis said. The vice president is kind of the point man for the president on this. We are working daily with his office and supporters on Capitol Hill and relevant committees. Though Mattis was opposed to the idea of setting up a space force last year, he seems to have come around to Trump's viewpoint that space is a warfighting domain just like the land, air, and sea. All right? Really, I mean, if that's how Homeboy felt beforehand and this wasn't part of the, bigger agenda, Homeboy would be in his right mind. Like, yo, bro, I don't understand why you wasting your time and your money and effort and all these people building a Space Force basically to fight, in y'all terms, aliens or the Lord, because you just going to lose regardless. You can't change it. That's just your inevitable end. All right, so you out your mind with that. But now all of a sudden, old boy's changing his mind. He all the way around. Maybe he want to keep his job. Who knows? But hey, this ain't their plan, and they ain't in control of this. This is the Most High's plan. They don't even know why they in these situations, all right? Man, in this image here, Donald Trump looked like a damn clown with all his makeup taken off. It says America's way of life is dependent on space. All right, and yeah, they're right in that statement. America's way of life is dependent on space. If they can defend space properly from the incoming, invasion of chariots and the Lord coming back, then yeah, they might be able to stick it out here. But that ain't gonna happen. So like, yeah, that's not gonna happen, If they could try to hide, like the scripture says, though you hide top of Carmel, or you dig down in the hell, you basically try to go up into your little space stations, and man, the Most High already got your agenda, man. Who you think gave you that idea and that technology to do that, man? The resources to do that, man. You can't run, you can't hide. All right, it says America's way of life is dependent on space. NASA Administrator Jim Bridenstone told CBS News last month, if we lose the GPS signal, there's no interbank transfer. That means there will be no milk in the grocery store. Our way of life shuts down. And that's why hostile countries around the world are taking action to make these capabilities vulnerable for the USA. So he's playing to the people's minds and emotions, the regular me's, you, hims, and her. Yo, if this shit go down, your cell phone ain't gonna work. Your bank card ain't gonna work. The grocery store ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna be able to get shit because they're gonna shut off the internet, telling you, putting it in your mind why they need this here Space Force. It says current Air Force Secretary Heather Wilson has pointed to China's 2007 use of guided missiles to destroy a satellite orbit as potential threat to the 77 U.S. military satellites currently orbiting Earth. The United States is determined to protect our capabilities on orbit. We're going to defend ourselves. We're developing the capability to do that. Wilson said that the event hosted by Washington posted last month. So America's like, yo, we're going to have to defend ourselves. We seen China shoot down one of their fallen satellites, and we scared of that, basically. Using that as a cloak and a covering for them to develop these weapons, It says, a military service trains, organizes, and equips. It doesn't warfight. The combat commands do the warfight, James said. The comments on Mattis on Tuesday seem to indicate that the Pentagon is looking for setting up a command first, while continuing to push for the launch of the Space Force. All right. Well, let me just go ahead and finish reading the article. It says, to continue to push for the launch of the Space Force throughout the bureaucratic channels of Washington. We'll get it right. We'll work it through Congress. So like we'll have the direction from the president, and we're underway. All right. And so again, like I said, the way they're gonna get that is they already set up the infrastructure. So like the infrastructure, the backbone, everything already in place. So all they got to do is create the right event. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden they just implement, turn on the light switch. It says the U.S. currently has 6 geographics. It's talking about military commands. All right. It says Africa, Europe, Central, Northern, Southern, an into Pacific, in which they just actually switched that into Pacific up, because that was I believe that was like the Indo Pacific or something like that. They pretty much just extended that, conquering more land. All right, and 4 functional combatant commands: cyber, strategic, and special operations and transportation. Basically showing that Esau has a complete control over everything. And speaking of which, that's all through the spirit, because this is the man right here that has control over every damn thing right here. Probably all through the spirit. This probably the man Esau himself, the real Esau, the first original Esau right here. This the man that rules every damn thing, Jacob Rothschild, right? And look how he stole the name right there, Jacob. All right, that's not his name. His name was Esau. All right, Rothschild, the red child. All right, letting you know who they really are. But nevertheless, here go another one of these damn Edomites, Donald Trump. But as these Edomites, the part of their heart is deceiving their ass. They pushing forth with this here space war. They pushing forth with this here this desire to fight the Lord. The desire to continue to keep ruling on top. We're gonna start out in the book of Proverbs, chapter 21 and verse 1. It says, "The king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the river of water. He turneth it wherever so he will." All right, so basically it's saying that the minds of these kings, all right, is in the hand of the Most High. They're not making decisions based off of what they think. Donald Trump ran for president. Oh, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I got my own ideas. I've been formulating, testing my methods, and we gonna run this play when we get in the office. Nah, it ain't like that. The Most High's got their mindset, just like us. The Lord got our mindset. We don't know what videos we gonna put up, what scriptures we gonna pull, or nothing like that. We didn't know we was gonna be in the truth, but the Most High put it in us and set up the ways and certain things that we would just fall right on into place. All of a sudden we would just wake up, be right here in the middle of it all. Like, damn, how the hell did we get here? I didn't know that going, waiting at this light or actually taking that right hand turn one day would lead me to here. So it says, "The king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, or Yahweh, as the river of water. He turneth it wherever it goes." We'll just say it that way, wherever it goes. So wherever, it's like the river banks. The river banks is how do I say, dictating where the river gonna go. If the river flowing downstream in a straight line, you know what I'm saying, but the river banks take a sharp left, where do you think the water gonna go? To the sharp left. All right, same way with these kings, these rulers, Donald Trump and all of these people. Their minds is in the Most High's hands. All right, he's the ones that's got guiding them and directing them and making them say certain things and making them do certain deals and pull out of certain things, when some people will look at them like, "Yo, bro, you crazy, bro, you about to have everybody nuking us, man." That's what the Most High has set up and has in place. All right, from there we're gonna go to the book of Revelation. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 7. "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not, neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him." All right, so it says there was a war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. Now the dragon is talking about this when you read further down, where it says that old serpent called the devil and Satan. All right, now this ain't nothing, no spiritual or nothing like that that's popping off, but this is these Edomites. All right, talking about the heads of these Edomites, but they're not gonna be going one-on-one. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be these militaries. These militaries is going, the movie Independence Day. All right, or go look up, type in Google Star Wars program Ronald Reagan. And he said, it's crazy how fast our small differences will go away if there was some kind of outside threat. And that's pretty much what's gonna happen. They're gonna have their little differences and skirmishes and things going on, but once these chariots come out for war, they're gonna put all that aside and they're gonna try to band together and fight with the Lord. It says, "And there was war in heaven, and Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels, and prevailed not." All right, and neither was there place found any more in heaven. So his rulership was done. He was cast out of his rulership. All right, and it also says he prevailed not, meaning he didn't overcome the Lord and the angels and the saints. It says that great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. And how did he deceive the whole world? Making everybody think he's humanitarian, he's nice, and all doing all these different upholding and uplifting things, when really he just death and destruction over the whole earth. All right. This is Revelation chapter 19, verse 11. It says, "And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse." All right, now white horse, that white is pure, meaning something is pure. All right, and the horses represent that power. That's talking about these chariots. All right, so you can say it another way. And I saw heaven open, and behold, pure power, talking about them chariots. And he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. All right, he doth judge. He's talking about Yahushua. He's going to judge the wicked. All right, and then he's going to come in and make war. It says his eyes were as a flame of fire, and in his hand were many crowns. The many crowns in his hand represent the other people who was leaders and things like that. He took their dominion and their crowns from off their heads. All right, and he had a name written that no man knew but himself. All right, now and that's basically talking about how we get this understanding now through the spirit and the power of Yahweh Bashem Yahushua Bahashem Rakak Kodash. All right, and through that spirit it came through and it manifested certain things to us. All right, it says and he was clothed with a vesture dripped in blood, and his name is called the Word of the Most High. And the armies which were in heaven followed him, and upon white horses, clothed with fine linen and white and clean. All right. And out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, and with it he should smite the nations, and he shall rule over them with the rod of iron. He treadeth the winepress of the fierceness, the wrath of the almighty power. All right, so talking about Yahushua when he come back in this here chariot, this pure power, man. Talking about he's gonna judge all the other nations, man. He's gonna basically break them. All right, but nevertheless, this is showing at this point in time. Where was it? It says it's actually in another scripture in Second Ezra, where they say they were afraid but they durst fight. The Most High is gonna put it in the minds of these men to basically go at Yahushua. All right, like the scripture I opened up with, the minds of the kings are in the hand of the Most High. All right, the Most High got these people set up to do this. They in their own trick bag. They don't understand this is gonna be their downfall. All right, the pride of thy heart has deceived thee. Let me grab that. We're gonna close out with that. This is Obadiah 1 and 3. It says, "The pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock." Okay, cleft of the rock. That's talking about Caucasians or cave dwellers. All right, these so-called white men, the Edomites, according to the Bible. So, as you go up at the top, it says, "The vision of Obadiah, thus saith Yahweh power concerning Edom." All right, the Edomites are the so-called white man, the same as the cave dweller. Going back to verse 3, it says, "The pride of thy heart has deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the cleft of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?" Yeah, he's saying in his heart, who gonna bring him down? Even the Lord can't bring me down. None of these other nations can bring me down, because I got these weapons. I'm just that smart. I'm the God of the planet. Even the Most High can't bring me down. All right, but the Most High said, "Look, I'm gonna bring you down anyway. You're gonna be cut off." All right. With that, we're gonna go ahead and close out, Lord, when this here lesson was edifying. Until the next time, I say, call halal Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. Stay strong. Shalom.